I want you to stop for just a second and think about this. Right now, while you are sitting here watching this video, something might be happening inside your body that you cannot feel at all. No pain, no warning signs whatsoever, but it is silently narrowing the very pathways your heart depends on every single second of every single day. According to a study from Johns Hopkins University that followed more than 12,000 people over the age of 55 for 10 years, those who had high bad cholesterol and made no lifestyle changes had a 38% higher risk of heart attack compared to people of the same age who actively adjusted their diet and daily habits. 38%. And what really made me want to make this video is that the vast majority of those cases were completely preventable. No extra medications, no extra money, just knowing the right approach. So the question is, if there were 5 simple steps you could start today to naturally push bad cholesterol out of your body, would you want to know? I am pretty sure you would. So stay with me, because step number 5 is the one most people never see coming, and it is getting a lot of attention from the scientific community in recent years. Step number 1, cut down on saturated fat from animal sources. All right, step number 1 is all about saturated fat from animal sources. And I already know what some of you are thinking right now. Oh, great. Here comes the part where he tells me to give up meat. No, that is not what I am saying. I love a good meal just as much as the next person, and I understand that at our age, eating is not just about nutrition, it is about joy, it is about routine, it is about memories. But let me explain this in the simplest way possible so you understand why this step matters so much. Think of your liver as a factory that produces cholesterol. That factory runs around the clock and it uses saturated fat as its raw material. When you eat a lot of fatty meat, a lot of butter, a lot of rich cheese, you are pouring more raw material into that factory, and the result is it churns out more bad cholesterol than your body actually needs. On the flip side, when you cut back on that raw material, the factory naturally slows down and the bad cholesterol in your blood starts to come down over time. So what specifically should you watch out for? The biggest ones are fatty cuts of red meat like beef ribs, brisket, and 80-20 ground beef, along with sausage, bacon, and hot dogs. Then comes regular butter, heavy cream, whole milk, and rich cheeses like cheddar and cream cheese. This is not a complete ban list, but it is a list of things you need to pay attention to in terms of how often and how much. Here's a practical example. If you used to eat an 8-ounce steak 3 or 4 times a week, try cutting that down to once a week and choosing leaner cuts like sirloin or tenderloin instead of ribeye. With butter, instead of spreading it thick on your toast every morning, you can try switching to olive oil. It tastes great in a different way and is genuinely better for your heart. And when you cook chicken or pork, pull the skin off before eating because the skin is where most of the saturated fat is hiding. What I want you to remember is not, I have to give up things I love, but rather, I am making smarter adjustments so my body can work better. That is a huge difference in mindset, and it will help you keep up this habit far longer than forcing yourself ever would. Step number 2, eat early and keep your calories balanced. Step number 2 has 2 parts that go hand in hand and they support each other really well, and that is eating earlier in the day and keeping the amount of calories you take in from going beyond what your body actually needs. First, let us talk about eating early. Our bodies at this age run on a very clear internal clock. In the morning and early afternoon, your body processes food far more efficiently than it does in the evening. When you eat a late dinner, say after 7 or 8 in the evening, your body no longer has enough time or energy to fully process that food before you go to sleep. The result is that a large portion of it gets converted into fat and stored away, especially around the belly area. And belly fat has a direct connection to bad cholesterol levels in the blood. One pulls the other up right along with it. So one simple adjustment you can try is to aim to finish dinner before 6 in the evening and not eat anything after that except plain water or a mild herbal tea. This gives your body enough time to process the food before it rests. And over the long run, it helps reduce fat buildup, which in turn naturally supports lower bad cholesterol levels. Now, about the calorie part. I am not telling you to count every single calorie or carry a calculator to the dinner table. What I am saying is much simpler than that. Eat until you are comfortably full, not until you are stuffed. At our age, the amount of energy we burn during the day has gone down compared to when we were younger, and our bodies simply do not need as much fuel as before. If you are still eating the same portions you did 20 or 30 years ago, the excess is quietly piling up. A practical way to do this without counting calories is to use a smaller plate, eat more slowly, and stop when you feel about 80% full, rather than eating until you physically cannot take another bite. Your brain needs about 20 minutes to receive the fullness signal from your stomach, so if you eat slowly, you will naturally eat less and still feel perfectly satisfied and comfortable. The combination of eating early and not overloading on calories will gradually help your body reduce stored fat. And when body fat goes down, bad cholesterol tends to follow, especially in people over 55, as noted by many heart specialists. Step number 3, add soluble fiber. Step number 3 is something I think a lot of us are missing out on, and it is a real shame, and that is soluble fiber. The name sounds a little technical, but it is actually very easy to understand and even easier to put into practice. Let me explain it with a picture. You know how a sponge soaks up water? Soluble fiber works the exact same way, except instead of soaking up water, it soaks up cholesterol right there in your digestive tract. When you eat food that contains soluble fiber, it travels through your digestive system, and along the way it runs into cholesterol that is waiting to be absorbed into your blood, and instead of letting that cholesterol get through, the fiber grabs onto it and carries it out of your body along with waste. To put it plainly, soluble fiber helps you flush bad cholesterol out through the most natural route possible. And the result of that happening consistently over time is that your bad cholesterol level drops in a steady and lasting way. A study conducted at Harvard University that followed more than 10,000 adults over 8 years found that people who consumed at least 10 grams of soluble fiber per day had bad cholesterol levels that were on average 15% lower than those who ate little fiber. That is a pretty significant number when you think about it, especially knowing it came from just adjusting daily meals and not adding a single medication. So, what foods are high in soluble fiber? The easiest and most accessible one is oatmeal. A bowl of oatmeal in the morning every day is one of the single best habits you can build for your heart at this stage of life. Beyond that, you have beans like black beans, kidney beans, and lentils, then apples, pears, citrus fruits, carrots, and chia seeds as well. You do not need to eat everything on that list. Just pick 2 or 3 things you genuinely enjoy and work them into your daily meals consistently, and that alone is enough to make a noticeable difference. A simple, practical tip. If you have oatmeal in the morning, add a few thin slices of apple or a small handful of berries on top. It tastes better, and you are boosting your fiber intake effortlessly without even trying. Step number 4, add omega-3. Step number 4 is omega-3. And this is one I genuinely get excited talking about because it does not just help with cholesterol, it does a whole lot of good for our bodies at this age that most people do not fully appreciate. But first, let us get a clear and simple picture of what omega-3 actually is. Omega-3 is a type of good fat. And I know that sounds contradictory right after we just talked about cutting fat in step number 1, but not all fats are the same. The saturated fat in step number 1 is the kind that pushes your body to make more bad cholesterol, while omega-3 works in the completely opposite direction. Omega-3 helps reduce another type of fat in your blood called triglycerides, which are fat particles floating around in your bloodstream, and when their levels are high, they team up with bad cholesterol to damage your artery walls faster. When you get enough omega-3, triglycerides come down, and your entire cardiovascular system gets better protection as a result. On top of that, omega-3 has a mild anti-inflammatory effect inside your blood vessels, keeping the vessel walls more flexible and less prone to damage over time. The best and most natural sources of omega-3 come from fatty fish. The ones you want to eat most regularly are salmon, sardines, mackerel, and tuna. Ideally, aim for about 2 to 3 fish meals per week, with each serving being around 4 to 6 ounces. If you are not a big fish person or fresh fish is hard to come by, canned salmon and canned sardines are excellent options and honestly, much more convenient. If you truly cannot eat fish for any reason, walnuts are the best plant-based source of omega-3 you can find, and about a small handful a day is plenty. Ground flaxseed is another solid option, and you can sprinkle it right on top of your morning oatmeal along with the apple slices from step number 3. Combining them like that is both convenient and genuinely effective. One small note, if you are currently on blood thinners, check with your doctor before significantly increasing your omega-3 intake, since it has mild blood thinning properties. But for most people, eating fish and nuts in reasonable amounts is completely safe and very beneficial. Step number 5, abdominal massage. And here we are at step number 5, the one I teased at the very beginning of this video, and I am sure a lot of you have been curious about. Abdominal massage. I know the first reaction many people have when they hear this is, wait, what does massage have to do with cholesterol? And that is actually the best question you could ask, because the answer is going to surprise you. First, let us understand what is actually going on in our belly area. It is not just muscle and skin on the outside. Underneath all of that is a deep layer of fat that surrounds your internal organs, and this is called visceral fat. This type of fat behaves very differently from the fat on your thighs or your arms. Visceral fat is not just sitting there quietly. It is constantly releasing inflammatory compounds and signaling your liver to produce more bad cholesterol. In other words, the more belly fat you carry, the more your liver gets stimulated to churn out bad cholesterol, and that is exactly where massage comes into the picture. A study conducted at the Mayo Clinic that followed a group of middle-aged and older adults over 12 weeks found that people who performed regular abdominal massage for 15 minutes each day, combined with dietary adjustments, showed a significantly greater reduction in visceral fat and blood triglyceride levels compared to the group that only changed their diet without any massage. The reason this works is that when you massage your abdominal area correctly, you are stimulating blood circulation and lymphatic flow in that region, which helps your body break down and transport visceral fat more efficiently. It also stimulates gut motility, meaning it helps your digestive tract move along better, and a healthier gut means the soluble fiber from step number 3 gets absorbed and does its job even more effectively. Everything is connecting together really nicely. So what is the right way to do this? You do not need a spa or anyone to do it for you. You can do it at home every morning or every evening before bed, and all it takes is 10 to 15 minutes. Lie flat on your bed or on a mat, stretch your legs out, and let your body relax completely. Use the palm of your hand, not your fingertips. Place it on your belly and start moving in clockwise circles, beginning from around your belly button and gradually expanding outward. Use moderate pressure. Do not press too hard. If it feels comfortable, you are doing it right. Do about 50 to 100 clockwise circles first, then switch to about 30 counterclockwise circles. The reason you start clockwise is because that follows the natural direction of your large intestine, which supports gut motility rather than working against it. After the circular motions, you can place 4 fingers flat across your belly, press down gently, and slowly drag downward from just below your rib cage down to your lower abdomen, doing about 5 to 7 slow strokes on each side. This motion helps stimulate lymphatic flow and improve blood circulation throughout the abdominal area. One important reminder, do not do this right after a full meal. Wait at least an hour and a half to 2 hours after eating. And if you have any existing digestive conditions, have recently had abdominal surgery, or are pregnant, please check with your doctor first. What makes this step so special is that it costs nothing, requires no equipment, never requires you to leave the house, and honestly, it is quite relaxing. Many people, after just a few weeks of doing this report, not only feeling lighter in the belly, but also sleeping better and noticing real improvements in digestion. When combined with the 4 steps before it, abdominal massage becomes the final piece of a complete picture that helps your body naturally push back against bad cholesterol from multiple angles all at once. The 5 steps we walked through today, from cutting back on animal fat, eating at the right time and in the right amounts, adding soluble fiber, bringing omega-3 into your meals, all the way to massaging your belly each day. This is a small but powerful journey that you can absolutely begin tomorrow without any big preparation at all. Your body has been working hard for decades, and now it is your turn to take care of it in the smartest and gentlest way possible. Do not try to change everything in one day. Just start with 1 step, stick with it, then add the next one. Consistency and patience will always beat perfection when it comes to keeping yourself healthy. If this video was helpful to you, please share it with someone you care about so they can also learn how to protect their heart from bad cholesterol before it becomes a problem. Hit the like button so this video can reach more people who need it, and subscribe to the channel so we can meet again at the next piece of advice. I am Saul Whitman, and I will see you next time.